Hey everybody, Adam Savage, and I am at Prop Store in Los Angeles with Brandon Allinger. How are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you, sir. Dude, this is such an awesome day.
More fun Blade Runner.
This is amazing. So we have here a selection of some hand props from Blade Runner 2049. It's 2025 now. We've still got another 24 years to go. Dude, the world building in this movie was so amazing to witness on the screen, but up close and personal, the props tell an even deeper and more amazing story.
Well, one of the things that I love about all the props from this film and in this auction is there's just so much that's custom made, right? They didn't just go purchase things. They went and designed them and built them and created them. And everything on this table, I think, was specifically created for the film. So where do you want to start?
I'm going to start with the one piece that uses an old piece of actual hardware, which is this beautiful phone used by the scavengers at the dump when he's going to visit the orphanage.
Now, are you certain that is real hardware? Because I was debating it.
Oh, no. I am certain this is real hardware because it's been discovered, and I have one of these waiting at home for me.
Okay, so you've already researched this.
Oh, yeah, I totally have.
So what is it? What's the real world item?
This is an old military phone.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. But production painted it in two-tone and added all these wonderful graffitos and extra things like the, little beads and stuff like that. The real thing really did have an antenna that's like a tape measure, so that it could fold up like inside the thing and come out. Yeah. Like that's actually real.
And this is the Scavenger. So I think the location they call it the Trash Mesa. The spinner crashes after they shoot it down with the harpoon gun, and then all the scavengers come out, and somebody in the scavenger scene has got one of these radios.
Well, and I mean, this tells you everything you need to know about the scavengers. They're scrappy, they can work with technology, they can make stuff work, but they personalize. Like there's this, again, it tells so much about character and culture as well as just what the object does.
And I never realized until we just set these up like this, but there seems to be a tie in the color scheme between this radio and the red and green on the binoculars here.
You're totally right. I hadn't even copped to that. So
it's not exactly the same, but the two-tone red and green thing, I feel like that's got to be deliberate.
Deliberate from a production design point of view. And we see Harrison Ford using these after he's in Vegas and he's looking.
Deckard's binoculars. And so a couple of amazing things about this. One,
dude, I can see through this thing.
They made it work.
I did not expect it to work.
It lights up.
Really?
Find the lights. There we go.
What?
Which you see on film, I think. You see all the readout in the back of it, which is really cool.
Dude, the readout is okay, I'm looking at it myself, but the readout is absolutely gorgeous.
And the other thing that is fantastic about this prop, it is a total one-off. They built one of these. This is the actual one that Harrison Ford holds in the film. We have the wrap records. There's only one of these on the inventory. This is it.
This is one of one.
Yes. Yeah.
That makes it one of the more remarkable pieces in this auction.
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a great piece. Used by both Deckard, Harrison Ford, and Ryan Gosling. And just look, anytime you have lights, collectors get excited, but the functionality on this one, the sort of mock digital readout in the back of it, the fact that you can look through it and actually see what you're looking at.
It's really thrilling. I mean, also what you're talking about is like, this looks like it's got greeblies, but none of these were grabbed from something. This is all digitally designed and 3D printed. Like every last bit of this, just what you're saying. They had to make everything from scratch, even their greeblies.
And even, I think, probably the label plates, isn't there?
Yeah. There's a little Art Deco going on there. We'll get a close-up. That's some really cool. It's
like the manufacturer.
It is, but in the ornateness of the label, I feel like there's a connection to the original Voight-Kampff machine, which has a kind of Art Deco VK sort of logo built into it.
I hadn't considered that.
So from the scrappy scavenge hardware to sort of military spec hardware, and again to the sort of billionaire tech.
Right.
This is Niander Wallace's, I guess he has some brain expansion chips.
Yes.
We don't know exactly how they work, but we do see his assistant Love grab one of these from this beautiful, literally actually built bespoke box.
Yeah, I love the box. I love the little chips. The production called them Halo Cubes.
So
I guess the official name is a Halo Cube, and they got this smaller, more rounded style and the more geometric, larger style. And it's a separate lot in the auction, but we have the magnetic base plate that they put on his neck with makeup glue. It's still got the glue on it. And then the one that she actually puts on his neck, which was a one-off with very specific characters on it. And then this is the rest of the box that you see her take it out of.
And am I also correct that there might be only one of these boxes?
I think there was a second box that didn't open. So I think there's one opening hero box with the cubes, which is this one, and a second that doesn't open. And there was also, to pair with it, is the little blue LED that's on his neck. And I think the idea is, remember those little fish-like robot drone things that come in? They call them the Barracudas, which is another lot in the auction. I think those are supposed to be seeing for him and tying in via the chip to his...
And probably in all sorts of different light spectra, right?
Yeah.
You know, different electromagnetic spectra. One of the things about movie props when you get to see them up close, as you know, is they're often a little crunchier in reality than they are on film. None of that is happening here.
Very pristine, all custom built for the film, and yeah, I mean, just beautiful design work again. This
is also like the 4K aspect of props that has happened in the past 20 years. That now that the film resolution is so much higher, I really do feel like folks like Doug Harlocker and the main purveyors of props to Hollywood are just delivering so much better stuff.
And also just the technology available to them, I think. You know, the modern tech to design things and print them and rescale them, resize them, machine things, you know, computer controlled, CNC, all that sort of world just means that you can build really high quality stuff.
It's crazy because these look like retail products, and the characters in this little chip, which must be 3D printed, are dimensional. Those are actually cutouts painted inside. Those aren't decals applied to it. So there's no scale at which you can approach this that it doesn't feel like a real...
That was cool.
That
Snaps
was really
right into
cool.
place.
I know. There's no scale at which this doesn't quite sell to you. Oh, I love Arabic characters. And color differentials, they must have had so much fun making these.
Yeah, it's interesting the different languages that play in the Blade Runner world. Like Kay's jacket, which we'll look at some point, has got those big characters down the back, which are maybe Russian, sort of Russian inspired.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen anyone figure out what it might say.
Okay, yeah.
And then finally here on this table, we've got, these are Niander Wallace memory orbs, is that right?
Yeah, this is basically a set of prototypes. And I think what they were doing, if you look at it, I think they were experimenting with how much cloud to put into the center of it.
For camera.
Yes.
Right.
And so, you know, this one is basically clear. And if you just pick up and take a look at that, and I don't know how they've made these, but I'm pretty sure these are all custom made for the film as well.
I find myself wondering if are they glass or resin?
I suspect they're resin because I think they've introduced all this sort of inner cloud swirl, the gas look in the process. And in fact, I can see little bubbles in this one here.
Yeah, I can see a bubble in this one too. And I can see evidence of multiple pores here, right?
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
But it's a really interesting question about what shows up on camera, because that might end up being totally gray on camera, and you might need a very little bit, right?
And these play in the memory vault. So when Kay first meets Love, Sylvia Hoeks, I think is the actress's name, and they go through the vault. She pulls out a drawer, and it's filled with these little memory bearings.
I will say that I have a beautiful replica of this made by my friend Sean Charlesworth, but I'm going to tell Sean that I think his balls are a little small.
These.
Yeah, I think this is an inch and a quarter. Yep. Yeah. Whereas he was operating with 1 inch.
Yeah.
So that is fascinating that these are prototypes and that you get to auction them off. That is a really cool part of the process.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes when you go through the production assets, which is what we do as part of putting the auction together, you find things that you would have never known existed if you didn't get to see it, you know? And I guess, again, it's sort of informative and educational. It tells you so much about the process of creating a film, and there's so much work that goes into bringing these things to life that we never really think about in watching the film for 2 hours, 2.5 hours. But, you know, somebody sat and worked for months on all these things, all the costumes, all the sets, all the props, just a vast amount of work that goes into it before they're ready to roll the cameras.
And because it's a visual language, everything that gets seen visually has to be calibrated to the camera. That's effectively what these are. It's an attempt to calibrate the look Villeneuve wants with what is actually buildable. I mean, I can imagine that, like, they, you know, did some camera tests of these, and, you know, somebody was like, I want those to be dimensional. I want a perfectly flat surface. I don't want to see decals, right? Because super close up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so much fun.
Yeah. And again, just speaks to the quality of, I think, the visual aesthetic of the film as a whole, the production design of the film as a whole, and ultimately the movie itself.
I am curious if any viewers want to let me know in the comments what some of these characters, what languages these might be in. They look Japanese to me off the top of my head, but they could be nonsense. We don't know. So if you can tell us what these might say, that would be a fun elaboration here, like these guys back here.
Work out the Blade Runner graffiti.
You know, maybe it's just as like advertising a local fast food joint, but I don't know. Dude, it's really, I love this movie. And I love it because I feel like I'm really being transported when I watch it. But sitting here with props from 4 different sections of the movie, it's an amazing spectrum of creation to build that world.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. And I guess the different types of aesthetics that are at play within the film and how they tell you about the characters, right? I mean,
Yes.
a good prop or a good costume is informative about the character, and it's driving the story forward, even if in a very subtle way, right?
And I think that there is a real, like actors, every actor I've spoken to loves it when a prop actually does stuff, right? Like, you know, I know Harrison Ford could be grumpy, but I'm sure he's prefer to look through something than pretend to look through something. Oh man.
Did you you didn't see that film, that scene?
No.
You weren't there that day when
I
they were
was
doing the
not there that day.
binoculars.
No, I
that
was.
That would have been a fun fly on the wall of like, what did he think of this
Nothing would have
prop?
made me happier.
Yeah.
No, they were filming. They were filming the Sepulveda seawall when I was there,
Okay.
so I didn't get to see him on set. At
Okay. Yeah. He wasn't there for any of that?
He was he was there, but I wasn't able to go to that shoot.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a night shoot.
Yeah.
Apparently really rough, wet.
With
cold.
all that water,
Yeah,
I can
with all that.
imagine.
I
Yeah.
did stand in they built the world's largest dump tank for the Sepulveda seawall sequence. And I did get to stand there. We did a tested video about it, and they dumped the full seawall on me. It was
Oh wow.
really fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll watch that one after this one.
Absolutely.
And
go
was
ahead.
the spinner there as part of the set? Like in the water?
No, I didn't get to see the spinner. No, the
Okay.
spinner wasn't on set when I was
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, the one they're climbing out of.
There's a deleted scene, which there's a photo floating around from, where Kay and Deckard are sitting outside of the seawall, I think after the fight that happens at the spinner.
Oh.
And they're both sitting on the ground, and Kay's jacket is draped over Deckard's shoulders. There's a photo out there.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what the story was on that one, but maybe we'll find out one day.
It's an amazing collection of pieces, and this auction is it's a kind of an unbelievable collection of pieces. The auction is up soon, yes?
Yeah, the auction is January 30th to February 20th.
Okay.
So everything closes on February 20th. That's the big day. All the bidding's online, but most of the film is represented there. Most characters, most props, most costumes that you would recall from this film are in there in that auction. So it's a really fun one.
I can't believe this is one of one. That is so exciting to me. Brandon, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you.
What an amazing compendium. Thank you guys so much for watching that video. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you we have some excellent merch. We have a 5-pack of demerit badges for sale right now at tested/store.com. We've got the I hung it off of level demerit badge, the I built the chair backwards demerit badge, the I hit my thumb with a hammer demerit badge. We've got the stapler in my finger demerit badge, and my favorite, I stuck the duct tape to itself demerit badge. Get yours now, tested/store.store. Tested-store. Tested. It's right here. There. Just click there.